G'day, freedom lovers. How are we today? Sunday Arvo. Yeah, I know the times are a little bit unpredictable when it comes to the fails of the week. Sundays are a tricky day. Things can always change and whatnot. And I've got some sips on for you guys. I know all you fun freedom sippers out there are probably already pouring a glass as we speak. So tuck right in. Let's have a sip to start. What's your beverage of choice today, people? G'day, Rachel. How are you going? And Susan, all the way from Scotland again. Misty morning in Scotland today. No worries. Always good to see you there. I might have to pop into Scotland one day. Apparently there's a bit of Scottish blood in my mongrel veins here, amongst a great many other things. So it's been an interesting couple of weeks. I'm going to do what the mainstream media hate doing, and that's like talking about things that didn't just happen yesterday. We're going to talk about things that happened over the last couple of weeks because, sorry, I've been a bit slack and I've been a bit sick, and as you can tell, I've still got a little bit of a cough here, but I'm getting a lot better now. So we're all firing, we're all ready to rock. We've got no, I spoke too soon. G'day, Joanne. How are ya? Wayne, what's going on? Morning all changed to here. Sorry, is that a typo there, or am I just misreading something? Wow, what a shitload of stuff has been happening. Digital IDs and all sorts of madness and lunacy going on in the world today. We got some cool shit to look at, some fucked up shit to look at, probably a better way of putting it. I'm going to add in a couple of little last minute additions that I was working on just before. Excuse me, which I believe is that one and that one. I'm going to add those into the mix. So we should probably start off with some good old memes. I know we all love those memes. I'm just going to put some stuff into order here. Because we're going to make Australia great again by making Elbow go away. So, and what better place to start than with the good old Alpoo Memesy. Alpoo Memesy, that's what I'm calling him today, after the Pooh Bear incident with Xi Ping, and we've seen him have similar dummy spits. So let's have a look at some Alpoos. Here, if you're useless and you know it, clap your hands. And there he is, letting us know exactly how bloody useless he is. I can't remember if we put this one up last time or not. I think I've just seen this image a few times around now. It's fucking good though. Like, they did a really good job on this image. Like, whoever photoshopped that one spent a bit of time. And definitely a wonderful dedication to the man who thinks he was there for women's rights and whatnot, and runs in and tells the organizer that I'm running this show here. Nothing like a bit of white male privilege at a female rally. You want lies with that? Come on. Of course we know. That's what they trade in. It's the stock trade of the Labor Party, especially when you see these bloody, Nobby here. Well, I can't even think of his name. It's not worth remembering. He will be forgotten soon, that's running for the Premier here, running as Premier of bloody Queensland. Bloody Mr. Photo Bomber. Freelance photographer captures a rare image of an actual crock of shit. That was a good one. Not the best Photoshop job, but it took me a little while to figure out what the hell was actually on his friggin' head there. But I figured out that it's one of them croc shoe things, clogs or whatever you call them. Apparently they're comfortable, but I've never been game to try. They just look really uncomfortable. It's weird. But yeah, artificial intelligence and natural stupidity. And here's that clown we were talking about. His first day in Parliament lied straight away, proving once and for all that Labor's ultimate stock in trade is bullshit. And who knows what's the name of the big event coming up that will cast Australia into darkness? Elbow's second term. It's still a way off, but, obviously people are keen to get in early. And here's my digital ID, which sadly passed. They've just rammed that one through. Stuff what the public thinks. Let's just give them what we want them to have. I believe we've got till November before they start trying to push that shit down your throat. And of course, it'll be voluntary, at gunpoint. You can't post facts at the moment. Good old fake book, which is, pretending like it's being forced to do things, but it seems to enjoy it a little bit too much, in my opinion. Prevent you from making us or our overlords look any more ridiculous. We've temporarily restricted your ability to use this feature on Facebook. You can try again once you start acting like a good little sheep, like everyone else. And of course, we disagree with this decision. Indoctrination. That's kind of how I felt about the school system when I was in it, and it doesn't seem like it's improved much. It's gotten even worse. But as we move on, we got to keep throwing them at Labor. I've seen this one online, and I'm like, yep, everybody needs to see that one. Walk in, fuck shit up, and walk out. That's pretty much it. Like, I've said it once, I'll say it again, and sadly, idiots will keep voting for him. So I'll probably have to say it again in the future. But like, nobody does more damage to the Labor Party than themselves. All you have to do is just watch what they're doing. And here's another stunning example of the damage that they've done to Australia. Look at all that, all the shit they've sold out. One thing it doesn't mention is what Len Harris told us, which is how they sold out all our title deeds, and the offices that run them. So yeah, thanks, Labor. I want to thank you for that stunning list of achievements there. Of course, the crime statistics is another outstanding achievement there. Troy Thompson ran the campaign of Labor Kings of Crime 4 years ago. Wow, they're bloody crime lords now. Well and truly, they're gone past King and gone to Lord. This is an interesting one. We'll look into this a little bit further, but I seen that on Twitter today. Elon wants to prosecute Fauci, and of course, there's newspaper articles about it. So we'll go and have a look at that one. 100%. Labor is a total fuck up. They've never done anything that benefits the country. That's right. They've done plenty to benefit themselves, and their amazing ability to flat out lie about what they're going to do and how they're doing it. And whatever they say, they're doing the direct opposite. This is for your benefit and your safety. It's not. Seen this one getting around. I can't remember where I seen it. I think might have been sent to me on Telegram. So I'll shout out to, Tracy and Mark, who have been sending me some stuff via Telegram. Sorry, I didn't get to all the stuff you sent me this time, Trace. I just have so much shit. I didn't really need extra stuff, but it's all there in the bank. The amount of stuff like people are finding and sending to me, I could do a fail of the week, or a fail of the day. It's just that much going on. They can't sell if your title deeds if they have that theft and sale of stolen goods. Wow, that's it. And we've got to find out what's going on. So Len Harris, silent majority. I do understand. I think it looks like his website's down at the moment. I went to have a look at it today because a couple of people have been emailing me saying that they can't get on. I thought I'd better have a look myself. Yeah, I'm not sure what's going on with that. I will get on to Len because I only just noticed it, about half an hour ago. And whilst I was doing things, Clinton Hawkes gave me a call and we had a bit of a yarn. And he's just locked in to come on the show on the 2nd of August. He's got some things he wants to share with the people. But, for now, he's on holidays and having a good time, relaxing. So sips to Clinton, thanks heaps for dropping me a line. And I look forward to having that yarn on the 2nd of August. But this is a good one. They say Australia has an oil shortage. A lot of folks can't understand how we came to have an oil shortage here in Australia. Well, there's a very simple answer. Nobody bothered to check the oil. We just didn't know we were getting low. The reason for that is pure geography. Our oil is located in the Bass Strait, East Queensland shale fields, Canning Basin, Perth Basin, and can we just drop that comment for a second? Sorry, my lovely comment helpers out there. Cheers, so I can read the rest. Perth Basin and Northwest Continental Shelf. Our dipsticks are located in Canberra. Any questions? I thought that was a good one. I love the punchline right at the end there. And of course, Anastasia, piece of shit. Palachuk has got herself a new job, Smart Energy Council. I swear they just invented that. I've never even freaking heard of it before, but she's been appointed the Smart Energy Council's international ambassador because we need one of them. We really need one of them. Wonder how much that of our tax dollars are going into her account to screw the country even further. So thanks very much, government. I really appreciate that. And just in case you thought you might say something about it on TikTok, Have a look at the censorship that's going on TikTok. Australia leaps and bounds ahead of the rest of the world for censorship. Well done. And of course, it's going to get so much better with Labor at the helm. You know, I'm pretty sure I'll be doing this podcast to people in the next room. So the people behind safe schools, gotta love it. You know, pedophiles. That's what, you know, and it's another example of how we're completely bullshitting you. We're calling this the safe school program, but we're running it for bloody sex fiends and pedos. Yeah, cool. That makes me feel fucking safe. I don't know about you. And while we're on the topic, here we go. I'd like to thank everyone. And I love the way they use numbers because, you know, it's too hard to write the word, you know. Where's his little apostrophe? Like, I mean, I'm shit at spelling and grammar and stuff, but this guy really went out of his way, you know. I'd like to, number 2, thank everyone, number 1. So he's just shit and pissed all over us there with a number 1 and a number 2, who has come to shit on me again, show their support. Sorry, we didn't have enough signs for everyone. We weren't expecting so many supporters for the lesbian, gay, bisexual, transgender, and pedosexual, you know, equality and acceptance rally. Really? Like, how do you support that? And if you're one of these, you know, lesbians, gays, trannies, and all this other shit, do you seriously support being lumped in with pedos? I think there's something seriously wrong with this movement now. I seen this coming. To me, it was no surprise that this was going to happen. You know, LGBT plus 22 to the power of 3 pedophiles and Bill Gates. Actually, that was an article I wanted to bring in, but I'll have to see if we got time, we'll have a look at it. But do you hear that apparently, what's her name? Melinda Gates has decided to walk away from the Bill and Melinda Gates Foundation. Still can't hack the fact that Bill hung out with pedos. Went all the way to Epstein Island. Still can't deal with it, eh? I mean, but does anybody actually believe Melinda Gates is a woman? I'm doubting it myself. Every time I look at her, him, whatever it is, I question. I think that might be like Michelle Obama too. You know, I'm really concerned about what their real gender is. But anyway, if it looks like a duck, walks like a duck, and quacks like a duck, according to Facebook fact checkers, it is in fact a squirrel. And yeah, thanks to Mark for sending that one through to us. Much appreciated. So anyway, there you go. There's our wonderful little meme state to begin with. Mark actually sent me through a video too, and he insisted that I watch it last night so we could post it today. So I'm just going to jump straight in and make sure it gets
We
played.
thought smokers were going to be destroyed with SARS-CoV-2 infection, but no, smokers tended to breeze through the illness. I've seen thousands of patients with vaccine injury syndromes and post-COVID. I can think of one smoker. Smokers actually don't get these problems. And what's been learned now is that the nicotine strategically blocks the spike protein from interacting with human receptors.
That's crazy.
And it's just, again, serendipity. It's a discovery. So there's been one peer-reviewed manuscript on this. I do it in practice now, but it's easy to use a nicotine patch or nicotine gum. A smoker would need, let's say, 21 milligrams patch nicotine replacement. We're using 7 milligrams in non-smokers, but patients feel like they perk up. This post-exertional fatigue, brain fog, lack of clarity, everything improves with a nicotine patch.
There you go. I was shocked to see that. So, you know, maybe there is a reason why our government's taxing the fuck out of smoking. Very interesting, eh? Very interesting. I think we need that one. So I think it deserves a little comment.
Where is it? It's gotta be here. Out of order. Fuck. Even in the future, nothing works.
Love it. Great friggin' movie. Oh, we can get them comments going again, people. Beautiful. Look at that. You're way ahead of me. You must have read my mind. So thank you very much to my family out there who is pushing buttons. I believe I did ask Tyler to do it. Whether Tyler did end up doing it or whether he handed it over to his 2-year-old sister, I'm not sure. So Melinda Gates is Kevin Kline, hey? It's just like Calvin Klein from Back to the Future. Anyway, let's share this screen and let's get on with the horrific shit I found in the news this week. Oh, what did I do? Holy shit, the whole screen just went black. What happened there? Uh-oh. What is going on here?
happened?
I know. Dad's just fixing his computer. It just died on him.
What happened?
Shh. Come here.
Dad's computer just died, so
He'll be back in a sec.
he'll be back in a sec. I'm trying. That was like,
You don't have a camera. Answer some of the questions if you can.
I don't even really.
Huh?
I don't know what you're saying about before. So that just came up.
Let's say hello to you.
Hello. Yeah, his computer kind of died, so I don't know how long that might take.
He's just doing a quick briefing.
Why?
Okay.
Hi.
Where?
Don't listen to those ones. That's how I'll say they know you.
Yeah. I'm not- Hi.
Where?
Yep.
Just say the webcam's not working either.
Yeah. Well, I don't have a webcam, so
Man's still here to talk.
All right, I'm back. Thanks for covering for us, Tyler.
no problem.
Yeah, I just heard
Hi.
you do. Oh, hello, Astrid. There you go. Yeah, so sorry about that, boys and girls. As soon as I hit present screen, the whole thing just went into chaos mode. I don't know. I'm going to try it again. Stay tuned, Tyler. You might have to cover us again if this goes south. Oh, no, look, we got it. It's working. No worries. All right. Sorry about that. We've got it running, but this is one that my friend Mark sent through me as a last minute addition. Thought we better get straight into it. Australian Defence Forces renames drones as it weeds out. We've got to weed these things out because gender-specific language is clearly a toxic weed and is going to ruin the garden of the Australian Defence Force. My God, talk about nuttery, utter lunacy. The Australian Defence Force has renamed its drone fleet, replacing unmanned aircraft systems with uncrewed aircraft systems. Uncrewed, I think it is pretty crude. The whole concept of this is very crude. Let's grab a sheet of paper here. Because I think we got our first nomination, ADF, for Going Woke. The ADF is our first contender. My God. The Australian has obtained documents under Freedom of Information showing the tortured exercise the ADF went through to eliminate gender-specific language throughout 2021 and 22, including in its drone program. A gender-neutral project was set up, and senior officers across the ADF were told to scour policy documents and regulations to find and replace gender-specific language, including around the drones, which were previously known as UAS or unmanned aircraft systems. Wow, you got to wonder who the friggin' drones are. Really, this is nuts. Like, I'm sorry, but I'm more concerned about whether they can defend us than this bullshit. And like, seriously, I hope we don't end up in a war with Russia. We're going to get our asses handed to us because everybody's going to be too confused about what to call the ammunition box. It's friggin' ridiculous. The process took 6 months and caused a degree of concern among staff. Concern fucking should be outright outrage, with one pointing out a change from man hours to staff hours would cause ambiguity and concern because staff had a special military connotation, and staff hours did not exist in Defense Dictionary nor the Macquarie Dictionary, which is the default language base for Australia. Zips, by the way. Drones tend to be known as unmanned aerial aircraft systems, or UAVs, unmanned aerial vehicles. The drones went gender neutral at the same time as defense was eliminating he, she, and man hours. Some instances require a bespoke approach to avoid ambiguity. Also, we almost got caught out by a couple of things, namely air crewmen, which will remain as it's an army employment category, and the use of unmanned in reference to a US Army doc. Wow, one defense staffer wrote in 2022. The heavily redacted emails provided by the Department of Defense, and I really heavily redacted, that's another concern again, showed the first directions about the drones appear to come from Joseph Medved, Air Commodore, Director General, Defense Aviation Safety Authority, in an email sent at 7:07. Wow, 7:07, eh? It's an interesting time. AM on October 22nd, 2021. Wouldn't it even be funnier if it was 2022? But anyway, under the subject line UAS term replacement of unmanned with uncrewed, he wrote, "Directors, as we move forward on significant policy and organizational changes, please ensure that all of your terms adopt contemporary terminology for UAS, uncrewed aircraft systems from this point forward." Now, correct me if I'm wrong, but I'm pretty sure the Defense Force is struggling to get people to sign up as it is, and they want to do this shit. I mean, we're going to have no one to defend us. We're going to have no cops, no bloody soldiers. It's who wants to be a part of this shit? This is ridiculous, utterly ridiculous. I acknowledge that this will take some time to flow through all our policy and regulation. Why? What a waste of time. You should be worried about getting people in to want to serve in the military, not friggin' doing this garbage. Let's just get down to the bottom, So the remaining of the drones and the banishment of gender-specific language happened under the coalition government when Peter Dutton was defense minister. So good old Dutton is a bit of a dud. Good old Dudden might be a better word for him. In May 2021, he had ordered the department to stop pursuing a woke agenda. Okay, maybe he wasn't so much of a dud. Yeah, he stopped them to pursue. So the instruction was overturned when Labor won office in May 2022. There you go. Say no more. Sorry, Dudden. Oh, there I was thinking you were the cause of this, but it turns out, the woke agenda was definitely put back under Labor lunatics. And I wonder if Dudden will actually get out there and be less of a dud and, call this shit out and put it back to normal, please. Spokesperson for Defense Minister Richard Marles said this is a decision made under the former government and for them to explain what. This is just shit. Opposition defense sought to put the focus back on Labor, saying the Albanese government is more focused on gender neutralizing the ADF rather than building a robust defense strategy grounded in reality. Exactly. Thank you. But perhaps there is some opposition in the Uniparty after all. Richard Marles kept telling us that we find ourselves in grave strategic circumstances. No shit. And yet Labor is more concerned about feelings than facts. The fact that there is, man and woman, that's how it's always been. The rest of this is seriously a mental illness, and mental health is a serious problem that is raging on. And I'm not surprised with this kind of confusion going on. It's time Richard Marles started to lead and focus on the massive recruitment and retention problem we have in the ADF. I say, well, it's not just me. See, I hadn't even read the full article, and I could predict where it should go. I'm glad somebody's actually thinking in amongst, this pathetic excuse for government. So yeah, ADF definitely up there for a fail. I guess we're gonna have to put Labor in there because shit, it's their idea to do it. So good old Labor gets a mention as well. Well done. We got 2 out of 1 article there. Despicable. Facebook censors RFK Jr. And I was just having a chat about RFK with somebody. See, I'm onto it, mate. I'm onto it. The super PAC supporting Robert F. Kennedy for president said it plans to sue Meta, the owner of Facebook and Instagram, for the company's blatant censorship of a new film about Kennedy and his work challenging corporate corruption. So we got a corporation showing blatant censorship in what could be perceived as a form of corruption. Straight up. The super PAC supporting President is plans to sue. Yeah, all right. The company's blatant censorship of the new film Kennedy and his work college. Yep, cool. So super PACs or political action committees can raise unlimited sums of money to advocate for or against political candidates, according to the OpenSecrets.org. So there's an interesting one. We might have to go have a look at that at some stage if we get time. Actor Woody Harrelson narrates the 30-minute biographical film Who is Bobby Kennedy, which details Kennedy's life and why he's running for president. I wouldn't mind having a look at that. We might have to suss that out. We wouldn't all do it in our own time, I guess. Check it out. Let's see if we can find it. American Values 2024. The Super PAC brought the film after the creator of Apple TV's The Morning Show, Jay Carlson, and director Mike Piscatelli produced it. Kennedy Children Health Defense founder and chairman on leave said in the press release, if supporters of all candidates do not have equal access to the digital public square, then we have a democracy in name only. Definitely. That's something we probably need to address here in Australia too with the Uni Party. This goes beyond restricting freedom of expression on issues and ideas. Meta is censoring a biographical film about a major candidate in an election year. How can voters make an informed choice if they are denied basic information about a candidate's life? Very important questions. There's obviously a hell of a lot more in this article. But, I think we get the basic idea here. Kennedy's campaign collected screenshots from users and released a sample in its press release. Silicon Valley companies blocking political ads with which they don't agree while giving shifting and dissembling answers as to why they're doing it. Strikes at the heart of our democracy. Here we go. Now, we had a picture here before of something to that effect, didn't we? Something like this, you can't post facts at the moment, there's one of them. There's censorship in Australia. Look at all these problems, it's amazing. Amazing. So anyway, there we go. Fake book for a fail. Failing to provide information to people. Or Meta, perhaps. Meta might be the better one because we've got to cover both elements. It's not just Facebook. I wonder if Facebook's going to censor me on all the platforms this is going live to for having pointed this out. Okay, school that forced student with asthma to wear mask must prove its case in court, and you can see why they don't like the Defender, the Children's Health Defense News Network. We're releasing articles like this all the time. So in a victory for students with disabilities and families, an appeals court overturned the dismissal of a lawsuit brought by Children's Health Defense on the behalf of a 10-year-old student alleging a New York school district violated the Americans with Disabilities Act when it refused to accommodate the child's medical exemption. There you go. So we're going to be hearing this shit for years to come, I think. So Sarah Doe, obviously a pseudonym I'm going to go with, a 10-year-old with severe asthma and anxiety who sued her school after it denied her request for a medical exemption from the district's mask mandate may get her day in court after all. In a victory for students with disabilities and families and appeals court, yeah, we got that reversed the decision. And Section 504 of the Rehabilitation Act as well. It wasn't just the Americans with Disability Act. When it refused to accommodate her medical exemption, Children Health Defense sued the school district on behalf of Sarah in September 2021 and filed an amended complaint in January 2022. A district court dismissed their complaint in March 2023. Wow, it took them a while to turn around and go, no, we can't have this happen. But the U.S. Court of Appeals for the Second Circuit last week ruled the lower court wrongly dismissed the suit because under the ADA, the courts can't excuse the school from its federal obligations to accommodate disabled children without examining the evidence and specific details of each child's situation. There you go. All right, like this has been going on for 3 years now. And now we're finally getting to a case like the shit they've done. This is nuts. So it's good to hear that RFK and the Children's Health Defense are doing such good work to help people out. And when you're looking at the Biden, Trump, RFK three-way highway to the next election. It's a tough one, I know a lot of people are out there thinking that Trump's the answer and whatnot, but he's still out there going, I did a good thing by getting these vaccines going. I don't know, Trump. I don't know. That's not a good move. So, I think RFK might actually be the way, and as I was discussing earlier, with a friend that, he's considered, a traditional Democrat, and traditional leftist values, weren't that bad, when you're looking, from the well-centered point of view that I like to, sit in, the old school leftist construct was actually quite appealing to a lot of, people of my age anyway, because, it's all about, peace and progress and all that. And, why wouldn't you want to progress? Why wouldn't you get to be better? Why you don't want to be stagnant, stuck in the same place, going nowhere? We want progress. We want the right kind of progress, because the progress the bullshit artists in the woke agenda putting now is not progress. That's destruction, straight up. Anyway, Piggy Soy. USDA approves plan to genetically modify soybeans to produce plant-grown pig protein. What could go wrong? Why not just eat the pig? And I wonder, will it be kosher? will Piggy soy be kosher? Will it be okay for Muslims to eat it as well? That is a big question. I would actually love to talk to somebody of Islamic or Jewish faith about this one. This would be a great topic to discuss. I mean, it's a crime against nature, which is fundamentally a crime against God in a certain point of view. It's also shitting on religion. Louis Armstrong impersonation again. The old man used to say that all the time. Every time you blow your nose. And now he's got me saying it, mongrel. The U.S. Department of Agriculture, USDA, this month approved a biotech firm's plan to genetically engineer soybeans to produce a plant-grown meat protein the company calls Piggy Suey. Is that like a bad joke from was it the Buddy Holly song? Oh, it was Peggy Sue, wasn't it? And that was in that. And then there was was it Quantum Leap? If anybody ever watched that TV show back in the day, they did an episode of where Buddy Holly was singing about his pig, and and right at the end, Sam turns around and goes, "Hey, buddy, try Peggy instead of Piggy Sue." So there you go. A little fun fact from old science fiction TV show, which I think it was my parents are actually saying that they've remade it. It'll probably be woke and horrible, but anyway, like most things. The company, a subsidiary of Argentine biotech group Bioceres, is also developing a yellow pea plant that produces beef protein. Oh, geez, I can't wait. Are you as excited as I am? Molex patented technology, which the company calls molecular farming, splices pig genes into a conventional soybean. The resulting soybeans are a pink, fleshy color inside, and the company claims they contain 26.6% animal protein. It's mind-boggling. Martin Salinas, Molex co-founder and chief of technology, said in a press release that the approval sets a stage for another food biotech revolution that is paving the way for expediting adoption of molecular farming technology by other industry players. Please ban this shit now. This is nuts. To reduce the complexities of porcine meat into a singular protein, myosin, which is the only pork protein produced by Frankenbeans. Yeah, Frankenbeans is the right term for it. Is completely myopic. This is not a pork replacement. It is a recombinant myosin production factory. Consumers would therefore be eating a novel substance requiring extensive testing and would require something far beyond what the FDA, US Food and Drug Administration, does routinely for genetically modified foods. This is nuts. And like, I mean, the FDA's, like, I mean, they've done such a great job over the last, 40 odd years, as American health declines at the fastest rate across the world. They've got more health problems than ever before, and all thanks to good old Anthony Fauci, who's managed to line his pockets quite well while killing so many of his own citizens. It's, if that guy doesn't go on trial, there's something wrong. This product is particularly concerning, he said, because until now, most GM foods fed to humans have been a minor ingredient within a product, whereas here the GM ingredient will be the primary ingredient. So people who eat it will eat much larger amounts of GM foods that they've eaten in the past. And now, for those of you who may not have looked into it, I have looked into this a long time ago. When it comes to Monsanto and their Roundup Ready canola oil crops, where in order for the studies to be legitimate under their own guidelines, so this, this is the lunatics in charge of the asylum sort of scenario, where you could only test to, on lab rats the eating of this stuff for 3 weeks, and after that, that's it. No longer than 3 weeks worth of testing. There was once a study that was done that went for 2 years, which was dismissed, in my view. They say that it's disproven. Some people say disproven, but I say no, dismissed. In order to disprove it, you would actually have to do a 2-year study and prove that it was wrong, where the mice had some horrific cancerous growths. So I can't wait to see what kind of lab results we get out of this stuff. This is nuts. Absolutely nuts. I mean, again, huge article. There's a lot in there, by all means, jump in and have a read. But I think we get the basic idea. So we better keep moving there. So we go piggy beans, Frankenbeans. What are we going to call that one? Kosher beans, just for a joke. Oh my God. Franken piggy beans. Franken piggy beans. Wow, that's nuts. Gardasil vaccine caused cancer that killed a 22-year-old, lawsuit alleges. I think do we really need to say much more? The mother of a young woman who died of cervical cancer after receiving a Gardasil vaccine is suing the vaccine's manufacturer, Merck. Good to hear. Let's see. I'm looking for. I mean, at the end of the day, there's probably a whole. There's a whole bit of an article there that you can read about. At the end of the day, what I'm looking for is the result. I want to see how this turns out. So we'll keep an eye on this one and see how it goes. Our friend Malcolm Roberts here, Australia's infrastructure death by Labor's secretive cuts. The Albanese government. Actually, let me know? Can you guys hear this? I can't hear it. Something's not right. Anyway, I think I was going to download some of this stuff, but I didn't get around to it, unfortunately. A bit late. G'day, Shona. How are you? The Albanese government is deliberately opposing my motion to disclose the infrastructure review it's using to justify slashing hundreds of millions of dollars worth of critical infrastructure projects around Australia. These projects include dams for towns and agriculture, transportation, and visionary nation-building projects. These cuts will impact crucial areas where investment is necessary, all while sending substantial funds to the United Nations and Tedros the terrorist at the WHO. Wow. Well done, guys. Love the Labor Party. You're like, I mean, how could you not? Australia requires productive infrastructure to cultivate its competitive and productive edge, reducing its dependence on other nations that purchase our raw materials like iron ore for steel and other construction materials. Why should we expect export raw materials only to buy back finished goods instead of manufacturing the entire product domestically? Exactly. And you see the quality of the crap we get these days. I was talking to a builder not long ago, and they were saying, like, you just can't buy good shit. Even if you buy the expensive stuff, it's still shit. Like, you want to buy a door handle, doesn't matter whether you bought the cheap one or the good one, they're all shit. It's nuts. And you look at the way we used to make stuff back in the day, and stuff lasted. Like, you tell me you give a shit about the environment and you want to save the world and all this shit, these left-hearted morons, but can we manufacture something that'll last more than 10 seconds? Like, how heartbreaking is it for every time you buy a child's toy and it breaks before you get it out of the shop half the time? Like, that's just bullshit, And creating a massive junkyard. That's what we're doing. So thanks again. Labor's already on there, but for the multitude of reasons, Labor's going to get many mentions here. Taylor Swift blasted for anti-Christian album mocking God in new songs. Is anyone surprised? I mean, seriously, they're right up our ass in the media all the time. There is a difference between secular and anti-Christian. Here's some of the lyrics. God save the most judgmental creeps who say they want what's best for me, sanctimoniously performing soliloquies I'll never see, thinking it can change the beat off my heart. Well, this is garbage. I don't think I want to give it any more attention. It's just like, I think that's enough. She shits me. Biden's job approval sinks to historic low. There hasn't been a result this bad in over 70 years. They're in a lot of trouble. I think I seen something not long ago where they were saying, that RFK is a threat because, he's taking good votes away from Biden. I think it's more likely he's taking good votes away from Trumpers, really. I don't, if anything, he's giving everyone a better option, It'd be interesting to be in America. I think it'd be a tough call between, do you give Trump another run or do you give RFK a go? And I think in a lot of cases, I'd sway towards RFK over Trump at the moment. That's for sure. Let Joe Biden and Trump carry on like idiots, dragging each other in and out of court for their own failings, and RFK is just going to roll right over the top of them. I think that's kind of my future prediction at this particular juncture. And obviously, he's a considerable threat to both of them because, wow, look at the way the media is acting about him now. And, for the record, former President Dwight Eisenhower stands above all for his success at a 73.2% approval rating. Second, former President Ronald Reagan at 54.5%. Biden's quarterly average was ranked 277th out of 314 quarters, which Gallup rated presidents dating back to 1945. That puts Biden in the bottom 12% of all presidential approval ratings. Wow. Look at that. Look at that. So, yeah, they're obviously going to have a serious challenge trying to get Biden reelected this time. I don't think they can print enough bullshit ballots this time. Apparently there has been an announce of the debate between him and Trump. I think RFK should be there too myself, to make it fair. Do you approve of Biden's performance so far? No. Oh yeah, got to put one. I don't want to get the emails, to be honest. Not there. Anyway, let's keep moving. So Biden, that's a big fail. That's a big fail. So we better put Biden in there. There we go. Aussies say no to cashless. Reserve Bank reveals ATM use on the rise. There's a few articles related to this one, so I thought it was interesting to get a broad perspective. Leading cash campaigner says rising ATM withdrawals are proof Australians don't want a cashless society. Data from the Reserve Bank reveals there were 30,859,700 ATM withdrawals made across the country in February. So that little campaign looks like it worked pretty well, eh? This marks a 3.6% increase from the corresponding month last year and 0.5% increase from January. So people are already moving towards getting more cash out of ATMs. over the past year by the look of things, by this 0.5% increase in January, but a big change in the year. So good job to all the, you know, cash supporters out there. That's really good. So, I mean, guys can go and have a look at all these frigging things if you want, but I'm going to smash through it because there's a few of them and they all basically say sort of a similar sort of thing. Even the ABC, Australia's transition to a cashless society, raises concerns about financial exclusion, privacy and safety. No shit. I wonder how long they sat there and hummed and hawed about that title before. Should we really say that? Like, I mean, you know, the banks are our friends and, you know, they supported us during the voice movement. Oh, can we go against them? Aside from those that involve the tooth fairy, cash transactions are at an all-time low. Yeah, wow. That's not what the other article said. It said it was going up. And the reserve cash accounted for 13% of all payments made in 2022. So again, they've subjectively checked only 2022, where we see in the article before, there is an increase, 3.6% increase. So this is what I would call manipulative stuff. So they've tried to make it look like they care, but in a sense, they've got an agenda here, and we're only going to look at 2022 because that suits us. The ability to pay by tapping our phones is partly driving the downward trend. So yeah, seriously, guys, I cringe every time I see someone pull their phone out and wave it over the machine. I'm like, you people, why don't you just put the chip in your hand? Seriously, that's what this is gearing you towards, is getting you used to it. Isn't it convenient? Isn't it easy? Fuck off. You know, disadvantage and at-risk communities. So let's get to the real point here. The transition away from cash disproportionately affects disadvantaged groups, such as people with disabilities and those who live in remote and regional Australia who have difficulty accessing digital financial services thanks to the banks constantly shutting down branches. I mean, wow! You see here in Townsville, we had 3 Commonwealths, for example. And it's obviously across all the banks as well. But the Commonwealth are you know, they shut that one down in Willows, and now you see it Stockland and Castletown. The queues are out the door for people to get the services they need. Like this, it's just nuts. RBA data also shows that people from low-income households use cash more often than their more affluent counterparts. The thing I like about cash, I open my wallet, I know how much I got. When you're using cards and shit all the time, you got to constantly keep checking balances. Oh, of course, we've got a solution for that. Get the app. Fuck off. I'm not putting that shit on my phone. You know, we refuse to have those kind of things on my phone. It's nuts. You know, I don't even like I hate the fact that the phone comes bundled with Facebook. I've got to disable that shit to get it off my phone. You know, in the absence of cash, they are going to really struggle. And, you know, I mean, I was at the supermarket the other day and I seen an old lady, you know, counting through her cash, you know, on a couple of occasions. There were a few people like that. Actually, I was at the supermarket on the weekend and, you know, had a good chat with a lady. And here's a little bit of a segue here, but, you know, I think it's important, you know, to engage in community discussions. And, what were we talking about? That's right. I went to buy 3 packets of Panadol. Apparently, can only buy 2. You're only allowed to buy 2 now. And I'm like, what? Why is that? She's gone, apparently people are ODing on it. I'm like, really? How much Panadol do you have to eat to OD on that? Like, she's gone bloody shitloads, I imagine. She's like, you know, I've got back problems and all this, and I eat a lot of Panadol, you know, so for the pain because I can't sleep at night, you know. And I haven't OD'd, you know. She's like, no, it's nuts. She's like, look, if you want, you know, we can go through, you can go through the registers, grab another 2 boxes and come through. Like, I mean, I can only stop you from having more than 2 in one transaction. There's no rules to say you can't go through here 5 times and come out with bloody 10 boxes, you know. But I'm like, man, you got to love this overbearing rules and shit. And how much more fun's it going to get with this digital ID shit? She's like, oh, no. And like, you know, it's going to be voluntary, just like the jab was. You know, I'm like, yes, great. I found a human. I found a real human. I had a great yarn. And she was going on about how she had the first 2 because you know, Woolies had made her do it. And this is the part where it goes into illogic, where she goes, I went and got the 3rd one in case they were going to mandate it. I'm like, what? Does not compute. Like, I wouldn't have got the first 2 myself. I said to her, look, I would rather starve in the streets and be living in a tent than fucking go and get that shit. You know, that was my stance on it. You know, and she's going, yeah, well, I shouldn't have got the 3rd one because I thought I was going to die. She was like, wow, it was so bad. I'm like, wow, you better come on North Queensland Freedom Network. Go check out the channel if you want. Contact me if you want to come tell your story. It'd be great. So, you know, at the very least, hopefully she's watching now. Hello to that lovely lady at at the supermarket the other day. It was lovely talking to you. And it's a fine example of how you can engage the general public by just wedging in something that happened right then and there and then lead it into all this other crap. And it's amazing how many people out there are, think like we do. They just, haven't come across the crowd yet. They haven't realized there's, so many good people out there standing against this shit. And, let's bring them into the fold. So anyway, let's keep going. So where were we? Oh yeah, we're in our cash campaign. So let's keep cruising through. So Yahoo Finance, banks reveal impact after Aussies try to drain ATMs in cashless protest. Awesome. The Australian Banking Association has revealed the results of this week's protest against the country going cashless. Draw Out Some Cash Day was organised by pro-cash advocates who wanted to send a message that physical money is a use it or lose it commodity. And I've seen a lot of people actually, starting to put that stuff on their small businesses and stuff. And I always congratulate them, for being decent members of the humanity and realizing the truth. I think it's important to have that in community engagement. Draw Out Some Cash Day was organised by pro-cash advocates. They sent a message here, Aussies were encouraged to head to a bank branch or ATM to take out as much money as they could. Pictures and videos were uploaded to social media showing queues going out the door at some locations, showing just how many people care about this issue. But did it make any difference? Across the country, there was no material difference in withdrawals of cash on April 2nd, they say. There, right, eh? I find that hard to believe. Whilst Australians are using less and less cash, we are not going to be cashless. Australians don't need to change their behaviour when it comes to withdrawing cash. It will continue to be available and accessible to those who wish to use it, they claim. Right. So, Draw Out Some Cash Days was meant to show financial institutions that Australia still use and need money. But I think they're downplaying this. I honestly think they're downplaying because they want to get rid of cash because it's a pain in the ass for banks. Think about it. They've got to get the armored guard mob out in there, and there's not many of that getting around anymore. I believe there was another story we dealt with that a few weeks ago. It's a big problem. Pro-cash advocate Mike Palmer, who runs the Know Your Rights Facebook group, told Yahoo Finance, oh wow, you got to mention that while it was great to see collective action like Draw Out Some Cash Day, it needs to happen more often. I've been telling people to do this every day for years, he said. Go to the banks, take out some cash every single day if you can, preferably over the counter. So there you go. Live poll do you support going cashless? No. And 93%, look at that. 93% of the people who read this article do not support a cashless society, which is really good to see. So yeah. And it is a big problem. There's the armor guard problem. We've got a few issues to go through. Feel free to go and find this article and get into it. But hey, look, average cash withdrawals has increased from 180 to 290. RBA withdrawals dropped from 77.9 million in December 2008 to 29.7 million in June 2023. That's disturbing, hey? So what are we looking at, about 15 years there? That's a big drop, And I think a lot of it is these phone nuts, people who it's so convenient to have everything on my phone, and I just hope they run out of battery every time I see it. Yes, pigs might fly, Rachel. They might fly too. Anyway, actually they do. I've seen them in helicopters. Cash is dead. Why are we still pretending it isn't? Says the Sydney Morning Herald. Obviously, in response to the cash is king, yes. Seniors want to use cash, and it will be the downfall of democracy. Are just some of the cries you can read on Facebook posts about the rapid disappearance of cash in our economy. Many are apprehensive about and afraid of the change that is clearly coming. So here they are, they're advocating for it. Money contributor. Really? Beck Wilson is a money contributor. What a stupid fucking title to give her. She's a money contributor. Sounds like she's a money destroyer to me, the way this is written. So I'm not even going to give this much weight because, look, it's just going to be garbage. It's, with a title like this, But, it's important to see that there is a bit of a thing going on here. So anyway, I think hail of the week goes to all the cash defenders. Well done, guys. You are making a difference, and this shit proves that they're worried about it, because that's what they want. They want that control to go along with your digital ID. Musk widens legal fight with Australia as Labor pushes social media probe. Awesome. Actually, didn't I have thought I had an image for that? Where did it end up? Must have missed it somewhere. I remember I had a one from Twitter there where Musk was thanking the PM for showing everybody that his platform was a free speech platform. He's seen it as a good thing, which is good. But social media giants will be called before a parliamentary inquiry into the societal damage done by Facebook, TikTok, and other platforms as Elon Musk expands his legal challenge against Australia's online watchdog. Musk's company X, formerly known as Twitter, this week launched a case in an administrative appeals tribunal testing the merits of the e-safety commissioner Julie Inman Grant, we all know her by now, order to remove videos of the April stabbing of a Sydney priest. The regulators' demand sparked global attention after Musk claimed an Australian censor was trying to determine what could be viewed globally, prompting weeks of local debate about online harm and elevating a coalition policy to the UK, to follow the UK, by blocking younger children from social media. And we can see that they want everybody to have their digital ID, and we've got to make sure all Facebook and things like that are all verified. We've got to know who everybody is, because we can't have these, people getting out there having free speech and hiding in the shadows like these criminals do. It's all right. I'll stand out in the light. I'll scream from the tallest tower. It doesn't bother me. X Corp will use its separate tribunal case to argue Musk's view that by blocking the video to all Australians, including those using networks that obscure their location, the watchdog is effectively seeking a global ban outside its jurisdiction, and that Inman Grant's decision was made out without a proper basis. An e-safety spokesperson said they would assist the tribunal but could not comment further. I'm busting to see how this works out in court, because the fact that she used to work for X/Twitter, surely that's got to come up with some sort of a conflict of interest. So I'm busting to see this. I reckon Musk is going to roll right over the top of them and the Australian government, and this dickhead Alpu Memesy is going to come off looking like a complete twat, as usual. So we don't need to write Labor, because amazingly, they just keep finding new ways to get themselves onto a fail. Albanese government announces joint select committee into social media. Aren't we good? Social media giants such as Meta and TikTok have been put on notice by the federal government, which is setting up a large-scale and wide-ranging probe into its harm to Australians. You mean it's harm to the Australian Labor Party, because we're just absolutely destroying you online. And every time you look at any of these fucking Labor clowns' friggin' posts, particularly on X, it's just they're getting fucking hammered by the Australian people. That's what they're concerned about. We know this to be true. Just go and have a look. They are concerned that they are about as popular as a fart in a spacesuit. And just like a turd, they need to be flushed. Australia probe to social media harm. So you can see it's all over the place. We can read the subtitles here, because I don't think we're going to get audio going at the moment. Thought something went wrong, but anyway. Where did I download that one so we could watch it? I can't remember now. What have I done? Yeah, that's one of those things I was going to get around to, but never did. Anyway, do we really want to hear what that turd got to say? We know X has said said it has blocked the posts for Australian users. That's the important thing. But Australia's e-safety commissioner says the content should be taken down from all users since it shows explicit violence. Musk has, so do movies. What's next? You remember when back in the 80s, I think it was the 80s and the 90s and stuff, and you had, your violent movie, like say Commando, I loved watching Arnie's Commando, great friggin' movie, and they had the adults only censored for television version, and they took out all the, the extreme language and the extreme violence. And boy, my eyes lit up when I got to watch the version from the video shop. You know, remember the old video shops? Weren't they good? Go around cruising around trying to find a new movie to watch. It was really good. Anyway, and I got to watch the whole thing. I'm like, wow, they cut that bit out. And, you know, they're taking notes how many bits you hadn't seen before in the movie. It was very interesting. But, you know, we're obviously looking to return to those kind of days, you know, the adults only censored for television. Like, how is the adults only, but we censored it? So that just made no fucking sense to me. Anyway, so there's that Labour Party's adults only censored for the entire country version of the world that we're looking for. Censorship, control, that's what the Labour Party stands for. What would you expect from a socialist workers' party? You're not sure? Pick up a history book and have a look at what happened in communist Russia. Have a look at what happened in Nazi Germany, and you'll see exactly the same fucking shit that Labour is doing now. Cloud seeding enhances snowfall over the snowy mountains during the cold months, increasing the amount of water available to produce clean, renewable energy. What? Have you ever heard such shit in all your life? This is from the Snowy Hydro website itself. Look at that, snowyhydro.com.au, generation cloud seeding. They've even got its own friggin' tab. Can there be any doubts anymore? Like, seriously, come on, guys. It's right in your face. But people still deny this shit's happening. Sips. And so, glassogenic cloud seeding is a weather modification technique. It involves the introduction of seeding agents into suitable clouds to encourage the formation and growth of ice crystals. This enhances the amount of snow falling from the cloud. I'm just so glad that these people are here to do these things for us, you know. Snowy hydro increasing precipitation average of 14%. Increases precipitation by 14%. There you go. The cloud seeding program began in 2004. Yet people still deny. An independent scientific evaluation of the trial found cloud seeding increased precipitation by an average of 14%, and that there were no adverse impacts on rainfall downwind of the target area. I want to know how they fucking determined that. How do you determine that it had no adverse, effect on rainfall? I want to know. The evaluation was supported by 2 scientific peer reviews and published in the Journal of Applied Meteorology. An extensive environmental monitoring program, including the analysis of thousands of environmental samples collected prior to and during the trial. The New South Wales Natural Resource Commission conducted an independent peer review of the evaluation and environmental monitoring program. It was found cloud seeding increased snowfall in the targeted area, and there was no evidence of adverse environmental impacts. I find that bloody hard to believe. 2012, the New South Wales government legislated for an ongoing operational cloud seeding program to commence from the winter of 2013. Cloud seeding activities are authorized by the Snowy Mountain Cloud Seeding Act of 2004. There's another good one. I'm going to have a look at that. And in accordance with an approved environmental management plan, the environment. Yeah.
Do you want the article on the screen?
Ah, I do. Thanks, mate. Sorry, guys. I forgot that I hadn't done that. So, yeah, as you can see, there it is from the thing itself. There's the cloud seeding thing. Thank you, Tyler. He's a good boy. They're helping his dad. So, yeah, I've read pretty much the whole article for you anyway, now that you can see it. But, yeah, look, it's even got its own cloud seeding tab, like I was saying before. Just trust the science. Yeah, of course. Yeah, definitely. No critical thinking allowed, you know. Look, grab that link for yourself. You know what? Look, I'll do you all a favor. I'm even going to drop it into the comments here. Share it round. Show the world. There you go, guys. Have fun. You know, and if anybody's unable to get that, or you're watching it later and it doesn't, the comments don't come up or something, just shoot me an email, just shoot me an email. You know what it is by now, but I'll tell you again, just in case you don't, NQ Freedom Network at protonmail.com. And while we're at it, don't forget to become a Patreon. There's some new videos that have gone up there recently and some more to come. So anyway, any doubters of weather manipulation, there's your answer to them now. So let's keep moving. We're an hour in already. 3 years from the COVID lockdown protest, Judge Liz Gaynor of the Country Court slams police for responding with unjustified violence. I'm pretty sure everybody knows this by now. The situation with Nick Patterson, and he's having some great wins. Obviously, there's the interview from last week about this, so I don't really need to go into it. But I think it was nice to see that it's making the news and that all the good work that everybody's doing is paying off. It's a long, hard road out of hell, but we're working on it, which is great to see. So there's some more about lovely police. You can see how they're protecting and serving the community here. They got their face nappies on and they're beating up the public and shooting rubber bullets and spraying them with pepper spray. Great stand up bunch of people. I wonder why they're having trouble getting recruits, eh? Premier's blasted by Greg Hunt for COVID outreach without medical advice. Interesting. Wasn't he one of the ones who was, pro all this shit? Anyway, in a submission to the federal government's inquiry into COVID, Mr. Hunt was critical of actions taken by premiers that were not subject to Commonwealth advice, nor the advice of their chief health medical officers. Bullshit. That's bullshit. The chief medical health officers were the bloody problem in the first place, Let's just keep moving. I'm going to get through all this. There's so much stuff. Wow, got lots to go. All right. Facebook shifts more than 1.1 billion offshore as local profits rise, 36 PC. Facebook Australians operations funneled 1.14 billion, 100 million more than last year, to its businesses overseas in exchange for services after the Meta-owned social media giant's local profits soared 36% in the 12 months to December 31st. Accounts lodged by with that doesn't make much sense. The corporate regulator shows Facebook Australia, owned by Meta, the parent company of Instagram, WhatsApp, and Quest, grew despite a broader advertising slump. So interesting. It reported 1.34 billion from Australian advertisers in the year, up 6.8% from the 1.26 billion the year before. There you go. And it funneled them offshore. Thanks, guys. You're doing so much good for the country. Here's an interesting one. I was looking at some, places to invest money and whatnot, when I have some money, which is very rare these days. Global platinum deficit likely to worsen. So the World Platinum Investment Council announced an anticipated more significant global platinum deficit in 2024 than previously predicted, with a shortfall projection of 476,000 troy ounces. This surge in the platinum deficit is attributed to increased demand from the automotive sector, global mining slowdowns, current geopolitical issues, and economic instabilities disrupting platinum supply chains. Decreased production from mines in South Africa and Russia. Wow, maybe we should have a war with Russia and see if we can fuck ourselves up some more, along with the rise in global platinum demand from industries such as the automotive, jewelry, and electronics. And of course, as we turn everything into, electric cars, so you can just move the jewelry out of the way, automotive plus electronics, see where this is going, has led to a scarcity in the market. So we're just at the beginning of rolling out this electrical nightmare in the automotive industry, and already we've got a massive hurdle with running out of shit. We barely started. This is exactly what I expected to happen. Madness. And this marks the second consecutive year of platinum undersupply, expected to amount to 6% of total demand in 2024, intensifying global platinum deficit in 2024. So yeah, you can have a bit of a read of that, but it might be worth doing some investing in there. I'm not telling you where to put your money, what to do. Just an idea, just a thought crossed my mind. It might be worth investing in a little bit of platinum. I'm certainly not a financial advisor, nor should you listen to anything I say at any time for anything other than entertainment purposes. Just thought I'd put that disclaimer out there in case some fuckwit tries to sue me for it. Kate Jones potentially set for Senate bid. By the way, go for your life. You can't get blood out of a stone. Kate Jones potentially set for Senate bill in Queensland Labor move. All right. So this is an interesting article because as I started reading this, I started to realize there's a left and a right faction in Labor. I'm like, you've got to be shitting me. High-profile former Minister Kate Jones could be manoeuvred into the Senate under a Queensland Labor left push. So the left side of Labor, and there's a far left side of Labor, as I discovered, which is where you find your socialism and your communism, But interestingly enough, as we move to the next article, is there somebody else vying for that position too? Former Townsville Mayor Jenny Hill will contest Queensland Labor Senate position in faction showdown with Kate Jones. Now, this is funny and fucking hilarious, Former veteran Townsville Mayor, fucking veteran, she just lost her seat. Bloody criminal. Will nominate for a winnable Labor seat, a winnable. So for your great service in ruining Townsville, we're going to try and put you in a nice, easy seat. We're so sad that you lost your job. We better get you a new one, And this is why people just stick with the Labor Party, because they're a little gang and they do what they can for their own, who have been very good little soldiers and never ask questions and always done as they're told. In a direct challenge to union-backed Kate Jones. So now you can see where all these little factions, of Labor sort of fit together. So you got the union left Kate Jones side. All right, saying she is Albanese's best chance of winning back regional mining communities. Really, in a shock move, Miss Hill, who served as mayor for 12 years before being defeated in the March council election. What article do they link you to? I just got to see. Stephen Martin facing on. Wow, isn't that interesting? Took us straight to they're facing a horrible defeat. Oh, we might have a laugh at that in a minute. All right. Told the Australian she would nominate for pre-selection for the rights. So she claims she's on the right-wing side of the Labor Party. Number 2 position, days after the party's dominant left faction began maneuvering behind the scenes to snaffle the seat. So this is good because you can see the Labor Party are attacking each other. So this is a fascinating turn of events, as obviously they're in more shit than you can imagine. So they're starting to fight amongst each other because there's not many seats left. They're losing their shit. They know they're in a lot of trouble, and now they're going to start cannibalizing each other, which is wonderful to see. Stephen Miles and Labor facing October defeat after horror weekend of elections. This is great. Queensland. This is from back in March. Queenslanders have their baseball bats out for Stephen Miles and his Labor government. Yeah, well, we've got them all handy now because of the crime situation. Everybody's got a baseball bat by the door, don't they? Thanks, Labor. The twin by-elections in the Labor's heartland seats of Ipswich West and Inala have delivered a brutal reality check for members of their near-decade-old government. Time's up. Inala, where Premier Anastasia piece of shit existed in December, was Labor's safest seat, held by Palachuk, with a seemingly insurmountable margin of 28.2%. Counting continues, and while Labor's Margie Nightingale, a Labor government staffer, will hold the seat. The margin has been slashed by 21%. So yeah, they're in a lot of trouble. They're in a lot of trouble, which is it's good to see, because every time I see this clown's face, I just think, oh God, I hope you fall flat on it. Anyway, let's keep moving. So Joe McCabe has been named our Townsville Council's acting CEO, while a permanent replacement is recruited. Good old Leighton. Hey Leighton, I know you're a fan, and you must be stoked to see some of your work come up on this platform. You know, Joe McCabe has been announced as Townsville City Council's acting CEO following a vote by councillors during a special meeting behind closed doors, which is interesting. I thought they were supposed to have them all opened now, all transparency and stuff on Wednesday morning. Prince Ralston signed from the CEO position just 2 days after the new council was sworn in following March's local government election. Mr. Ralston is expected to finish in the role on the 10th of February, so he's probably already gone. This is obviously an old article. When he brings down the curtain on nearly 4 years in the role. The new acting CEO is expected to keep the outgoing CEO's seat warm for 3 to 6 months while a recruitment campaign is carried out for a permanent CEO. On his link in the profile, Mr. McCabe describes himself as an experienced local government senior executive. Wonderful piece of reporting. He went to his LinkedIn profile to find out what he wouldn't talk to you. A mentor. The managing director, McCabe, business management, and says he is available for consulting, contracting, or interim CEO roles. There you go. So we'll see what comes of that. That'll be interesting. I wonder how much that's costing us. Labor's budget, one of the most irresponsible I've ever seen, says Dutton. Opposition leader Peter Dutton has slammed Treasury Jim Chalmers' federal budget as one of the most irresponsible he's ever seen. Is anybody shocked? The opposition leader delivered his budget reply speech on Thursday night. In my 22 years in Parliament, I've seen good and bad budgets, but the budget handed down on Tuesday night is one of the most irresponsible I've ever seen. Short to the point there. Let's keep going and having a look at some more of the budget. Labor's budget eyes are a flagging economy and voters. But is it a magic pudding? With an election on the horizon, the government's budget is heavy with stimulus-focused spending that it'll be hoping appeases voters, but will it worsen inflation? Probably. Apparently, we'd already be out of it if Labor knew how to run the country. Labor's 2024 budget will plunge the national balance sheet back into the red with massive spending programs designed to win voter favor. So they're trying to buy your vote by taxing the shit out of you and then giving it back to you. Isn't it kind of them? As the government goes into an election year. After back-to-back surpluses over the past 2 years, how the hell have they got back-to-back surpluses when we are millions in debt? Like the way they manipulate and twist and turn shit does my head in. Treasurer Jim Chalmers' budget forecasts a mammoth $28 billion deficit for 2024-25 off the back of a significant increase in spending on the cost of living measures, including an extension and expansion of this year's energy bill relief package. Again, like you can't just keep giving relief bills. You've got to actually fix the problem. It's just Band-Aid on top of Band-Aid. Increasing the Commonwealth Rent Assistance and Pharmaceutical Benefits Scheme freeze and more Medicare funding. Again, you want to solve the healthcare industry, make it a non-profit industry. Problem solved. That'll bring all the costs right down, and because there's no profit to be had, you might actually start fixing problems instead of just keeping everybody sick all the time. So, maybe one day I might see if I can get myself voted in on these wonderful ideas and see if it actually works. The 28 billion deficit is exacerbated by a shift of some spending from the current financial year into the next. Well, I'm not going to read any more of this. We've got a few to look at. One word in Chalmers' budget speech perhaps went unnoticed, but it could make all the difference for Labor's re-election. I love looking at the ABC when they turn on their leftist martyrs. G'day, Robin. How are you? I'm waving to your comment. G'day, Robin. How you going? Anyway, there's one word that Australians doing it tough perhaps didn't hear Treasurer Jim Chalmers say in his budget speech this week. It's an innocuous word, the kind that can easily be missed. Treasury is now forecasting inflation could return to target earlier, perhaps even by the end of this year. Imagine if Winston Churchill had opted for a qualifier like perhaps. We shall perhaps fight on the beaches. Doesn't quite have the same ring to it, does it? Nor does I perhaps have a dream, or I perhaps will not be lectured about sexism and misogyny by this man. Like, why they typical leftists had to put that in there. Granted, Chalmers wasn't seeking to go down in the annals of history, at least not with his speech. It's good to see them fucking, like, you know, even the ABC's like, God, you guys are going down, and we are not going down with you. So, you know, like Labor, you know, again, what we've nominated them 5-6 times now. Digital ID passes the Parliament. There's another one reason to nominate them. Well, I don't know if they get a fail for that one, because they actually successfully turned it, you know, got this shit through. And this is a big problem. We're in a lot of trouble now, guys. And we really need the Australian people to say no big and proper on this one. And I hope they have a lot of trouble pushing this through. What kind of dodgy tactics they're going to implement? Well, time will tell. This is a huge milestone for the program and has been in the works for many years. That's disturbing. This provides certainty for the expansion of the Australian government's digital ID system and for providers. And you know what's funny? They got hacked the next day. Well done, guys. Yeah, it's really, you know, instilling me some faith. But the bills are expected to receive royal assent in the coming weeks and expected to commence by November. So enjoy the next 6 months, boys and girls, of a life without a Nazi-style digital ID system. Because, yeah, it's happening. I knew it would. I'm not surprised. Like, you know, the way they were going about it, you knew they were just going to ram it through. Let's see if we have any real opposition to it from both the people and government. We'll see what happens. The budget is already adding to inflation, says the Financial Review. Federal budget has already injected $22 billion of new policy spending into the economy over 2 years, which economists say will cause higher interest rates. Thanks. I really needed that. Then necessary and delay any rate cuts by the RBA. Treasurer Jim Chalmers insists his third budget on Tuesday will not add to the current inflation pressures because much of the new future made in Australia and other spending will not be front-loaded and will largely be deferred for future years. Rightio. So you're just pushing it back. You're still gonna fuck us, but we'll do it later. You know, and they're future made in Australia. And what are they talking about? Electric crap, and then bloody solar panel shit. Why don't you get Holden Ford back again? You know, future made in Australia. We wouldn't even have to have this crap happening if you didn't destroy the country in the first place. You know, the lunatics are in charge of the solution. Wow. You know, they're self-medicating themselves in the asylum by the look of it. Higher costs, more taxes, business warns budget could fuel inflation. Do we really need to see much more of this? We know exactly where it's going. You know, we know what's happening. Malcolm Roberts, you know, budget fail, Aussies hit by rising costs and green initiatives. You know, probably download that one. We'll play it. Huh? I have to find a different way to do it. Anyway, you get the idea. I play them, but for some reason the audio is not working. Should be working, but it's not. Anyway, go and check out those videos. You know, Malcolm pretty much sums it up. Albo out, Peter Dutton out, and Bush, Pig, Jackie Lambie out. Everyone vote for One Nation. God bless you, Senator Roberts. Interesting comments put here. Is that 300,000 new government-supported payments? Yeah. So anyway, you can go and have a look at those videos yourself because, sorry, didn't get a chance. Aussie doctor speaks out on AstraZeneca vaccine after it was pulled worldwide after safety admissions. These risks were raised at the time. No shit, you know. So they can no longer deny it. But, you know, the basic drill here is, you know, what he's saying is, you know, he has told Australians who have had the AstraZeneca COVID-19 vaccine they have no reason for alarm. Really? You've got to be shitting me. You know, again, why would we trust you people? You told us safe and effective, but it's not. We can see that. It's right here. Don't tell me that you don't have to worry. I'm very concerned for friends and family who rolled their sleeve up and took this poison. I'm very concerned, and there's no amount of words from these lunatics who encouraged it is going to make me feel better. Fuck you, Channel 7, and fuck your bullshit. We now know the likely truth about COVID and how scientists lied. Scientists lied. Really want to emphasize that. COVID-19, which killed 1.1 million, or was it the medical system in the way it treated its American citizens killed 1.1 Americans instead of giving them, ivermectin and hydroxychloroquine, the one that, instead of giving them that and saving them, they insisted on killing them so that they could justify this ridiculous friggin' vaccine, which again is killing people again. Well done, guys. You guys fucking lied flat out. And even the New York Post is going to say it. So I'm wondering, will Facebook pull this down for medical misinformation as I read the article that proves it? You pulled our shit before you even pulled my video of Senator Rennick, who was pointing this stuff out. Where's our apology? Where were you fact checking? Thanks, Pam. COVID-19, which killed 1.1. So anyway, even today, you're not supposed to say that, So it is a man-made virus that escaped from a Chinese lab, partly funded by the US government. Even today, you're not supposed to say that, even though it's the only plausible scenario. No fact checkers will rush in to claim that eminent scientists deny this, which is because those scientists have too much invested in money, in time, in their own beliefs to admit the truth. There you have it. China tried to deflect blame immediately by saying deflect blame immediately by saying the virus supposedly began in a wet market of animal meat in Wuhan. What, did anybody actually believe that? Sent me batty. But Dr. Anthony Fauci repeatedly argued it evolved in nature and then jumped species. What a pile of shit in the spring of 2020. Since then, both long investigations and government reports have concluded that the virus is man-made. Fauci grudgingly admitted it could be true. The lie, the virus didn't come from the lab in Wuhan. So that was the lie. Anyone who questioned this claim, including the Post, was censored online in 2020. The reason? A statement published in Lancet by 27 scientists calling it a conspiracy theory. Well, it's a conspiracy fact now. Thank you for the pat on the back, because we were right all along, and doesn't it feel good? We know now that that statement was drafted by Peter Daszak, president of EcoHealth Alliance. The company working on research in the Wuhan lab was just trying to cover his own complicity. All signs point to that lab leak. The only reason we can't say it conclusively is because China has been allowed to destroy all evidence. They let them destroy the evidence. Lie. The US didn't fund gain of function research. This is a lie. Scientists sometimes experiment with viruses, making them easier to catch and more deadly, as a way to determine what might happen or what vaccines may be needed. Maybe if you didn't fuck with it in the first place, you wouldn't have to do this shit, and none of this crap would have happened. But I guess all those profits, where would they have gone, All those poor billionaires, they really needed another ivory back scratcher. But in May 2021, Fauci stated unequivocally that the US has not ever and does not now fund gain of function research in the Wuhan Institute of Virology, which turned out to be a lie. On Thursday, NIH Deputy Director Lawrence Tabak directly contradicted that. US taxpayers did fund EcoHealth, which was working on gain of function research in Wuhan. Tabak's new excuse, gain of function, doesn't mean what we've been told that it means. It's perfectly safe. Yeah, right. How safe was it? 1.1 million Americans? Fucking safe my ass. It's about as safe as that vaccine. Fuck off. So anyway, let's keep moving because the story gets more exciting. Because Elon's fucking turn around and demand we get him up, Anthony Fauci, on charges. Why not? He's lied, flat out lied. And he's been directly involved in killing Americans since the 80s. The profits for Big Pharma have gone through the roof, and the health of the American people have plummeted, and they're dragging the rest of the world down with them. Anybody who goes along with this shit has got friggin' health problems. We've got obesity problems. It's just nuts. Washington. Elon Musk demanded the arrest and prosecution of Dr. Anthony Fauci on Friday after the National Institute of Health came clean to Congress and admitted funding risky gain-of-function research in Wuhan, China, prior to the outbreak of the COVID-19 pandemic there. Prosecute Fauci, billionaire of CEOs, says, So let's come back here and let's get this up because, where is it? There it is. Prosecute Fauci. Yep, he said it, and it was great. And I was actually looking for, this article too, but it's actually really hard to find. Sick lies after years of falsehoods. Health official admits US funded dangerous virus research at China's COVID lab. Good to see. It's all coming out. And then, shit, we knew. It was obvious. So the billionaire of CEO Tesla and SpaceX and owner of social media network X tweeted. Do you still tweet it on X? I don't know. Or do you X'd it now? I don't know. Sharing the post's Friday front page bearing a photo of Fauci and the headline, Sick Lies, NIH Principal Deputy Director Lawrence Tabak confessed Thursday at the House hearing that the US government had indeed funded dangerous research at the Wuhan Institute of Virology, which modified bat coronavirus shortly before the outbreak began in 2019. So they did it. $1 million question is, if they get Fauci up there on the stand, will he go down on his own? Or will he take everyone else who was involved down with him? I'd love to see it. It'd be great. It depends. So I love this. It depends on your definition of gain of function research. Yeah, rightio. If you're speaking about in the generic term, yes, we did. Yes, we're just speaking about it and for exactly what it means. Did you fuck with viruses and get that and have that shit released across the public, the world? The whole world should be going for these criminals. As NIH has not ever or does not now fund gain of function research in the Wuhan Institution of Labs, said Fauci, now 83, testified to Congress in May 2021. He lied to Congress. Why he is not up on charges, why he's not in chains right now is beyond me. So I think that concludes. We probably put Fauci up for a fail. He failed to continue the lie. So that concludes the shit that I've gone through this week for you guys. It has been a pleasure bringing this shit to you, but now it's the fun part. This is the part where we get some voters in. So I might grab control of the reins now, Tyler. Thank you very much for running the comments for us. I'm assuming we're up to, this was the last one that came up. I didn't actually shoot. They'll throw others under the bus, I hope. Thank you, Borrow. Thanks, mate. So, look. This is the part where you have fun and you get to vote. We're going to vote for the ADF for going woke and removing all the bloody terminology instead of worrying about recruiting and leaving us defenseless in the face of woke stupidity. The Labor government for the myriad of bullshit that they've done this week. Meta, what for their work with trying to suppress RFK and now finding themselves in court, which is great. We got the Frank and Piggy Beans is another one. We got Joe Biden. Well, he's just an epic failure for being the most pathetic president in American history. I remember looking at George Bush Jr. going, they couldn't have picked a bigger clown if they tried. Apparently they can. And good old Fauci, who has finally been thrown under the bus by all his favorite media who praised him as a great friggin' clown back in the day, and it's time to go. So I didn't see the nominees. I just told you what they were. ADF, Labor, Meta, Frank and Piggy Beans, Biden, and Fauci. So, still haven't had so much as a sniffle during the entire COVID plover. So disappointed. Wow. I wish I could say the same. We all seen how crook I was last week, but I survived without having to take any of that poison. So we got our first vote from Rachel. Go one to the ADF wokesters for leaving us defenseless in the face of stupidity. Thanks to your young fella as well. Yes, thank you, Tyler. You are awesome. Fiona Hanson, tough selection. It is. It's a tough one. It's a tough one. FOT, Labor government. All right, Labor gets a vote. One for ADF, one for Labor, one for Meta. Bring your votes in. While we're getting those votes in, I might have a quick squiz here at some of the things there's some videos here as well I was going to throw. Oh, yeah. Here's one that was sent to me. So for all you Trump fans out there, what do you think of this? So, yeah. What do you think of that, eh? Yeah, well, we don't know much about some of the Freemasonry stuff. They're very good at keeping themselves secretive, aren't they? One thing, for those of you who live around Ballarat, I invite you to go down to your gardens and have a look through and look for all the big, long, pointy things, the obelisks, and have a read of the plaques. Tell you a little bit about Freemasonry and the Liberal government. What the hell? Yeah, exactly. Fail of the week: judicial system for jailing David McBride for telling the truth. Australians' involvement in war crimes cover up. I wasn't aware of that one. I'll have to maybe if you want to send me an article, Martin, we can have a look at that next week. The hypothesis that contributes to the brain. Interesting. Yeah. Frank and Piggy Beans. I was wondering if somebody was going to vote for Frank and Piggy Beans. It would appear so, my friend. It would appear so, Masonic. So, RFK is looking like a pretty good bet. I am hoping that he takes the win. I'd be curious to see what America looks like with him running. Where and when was that? I'm not sure. That was just something that was sent to me by my friend Darren Dixon. Creepy film if it's real. Exactly. The 6,000-year-old death cult. You got to wonder. I mean, again, the big question I have is, is he still a part of it? Don't know. Labor followed by Fauci, then Meta. So is that a vote for Labor? I think that's the way I look at it. I don't trust a lot these days with so much AI. Anything could be possible. It could be bullshit. I don't know. It's just a video. Like I said, what do you guys think? I just had a look at it. I don't know. I'm in Ballarat. I might have to go and have a look. Yes, go and have a look in the park. Take some photos. Send them to me. I should have done it back when I was there years ago. I found it very, very fascinating. Oh, yes, McElroy fail. Cool. I'll have to look at it. All of the above. Sorry, I must have missed that bit on the morning rise, and I've missed a few headlines. I've been a very, very busy man. Pig Bean. Oh, hang on. Laura votes for Piggy Beans. Frank and Piggy Beans. RFK. Yeah, I reckon he could be a goer. Martin Taylor, totally agree. Is it true Australia has a digital ID starting? Yes, it is true. Sadly, it has passed. They expect it to get royal assent. So currently it hasn't been given royal assent. And they expect it to start in November. So yeah, pray for us all. We're going to need it. Be interesting to hear from. There you go. Yeah. Sorry, I missed that. Hey. Can't keep up with everything. There's a lot going on. Oh, a novel. Okay. What's the matter? All right. So how's the votes progressing so far? ADF winning with 4 votes, Labor on 3, Meta on 3, Franken Piggy Beans on 2, and Fauci with 1. And Biden. Well, do you really need to vote for him as a fail? I guess he's just one giant fail, much like the Labor Party. Vote based on the historical demise of our constitution. It has to be Labor all day long. Well, Liberal Party have had just as much to do with it too. That's the problem. We're uni party. Trump is definitely a Freemason, or he would have been taken out. You're right. Oh, it's an interesting theory. Maybe that's why they haven't knocked him on the head yet. But I think if they'd make a martyr out of him too. Yep, lol. Look at what's happening now. RFK is coming in and he wants to fucking have a look. Well, I wonder, because Trump said he was going to release the files on what happened to JFK, and and he's not the only one who said it, but apparently if you knew what I knew, you wouldn't release them too, he reckons. So I'd be curious to see if RFK will. That would be good. I think it's worth I'd love to see him get in just to see if he actually will release that information, because it's time. Oh crap. We usually follow you guys. GMO Franken food. Is that your vote for the GMO Franken Piggy Beans? Is that a vote there? I'm guessing. The unions and Pig Party. There you go. So it looks like we got a win for the ADF this week. I'll see what was it? Actually, here's an interesting video. I reckon we should watch this one before we part. Any final votes? Now's the time to do it.
People are totally unvaccinated. Is that where do you find? Is it just the parents that stepped up and said? I would think that's a very small percentage, because so many of us blindly followed, the recommendations to vaccinate children.
Yeah, it's less than 1% of the public. So the Amish are a perfect example of a large group of people who are largely unvaccinated, and there's we can't find an autistic kid who was unvaccinated. It's very, very rare in the Amish community. Very, very rare. You won't find kids with ADD, with autoimmune disease, with panda pans, with epilepsy. You just don't find any of these chronic diseases in the Amish. And the U.S. government has been studying the Amish for decades, but there's never been a report out to the public. The reason, of course, is it would show that, if you don't follow our guidelines, you're going to end up healthier. That's why there's no report after decades of studying the Amish. There's no report, because the report would be devastating to the narrative. It would show that the CDC has been harming the public for decades and saying nothing and burying all the data.
There you go. So, by what that fella says, we should be ignoring all their advice. There you go. Time in, I would never have. Yeah, same. I wouldn't have done that to the first 2. We've stopped now, and the next 2 are clean, which is great. And the difference in cognitive ability is just astounding. Amish live the best. Yeah, Amish Paradise. What a great song. Love that one. I still get a laugh out of that one. Much better than the original version. Weird Al has a way of correcting some songs. Is correct. Remember the food pyramid, literally the opposite of what you should eat. You should start with the cakes and the chocolates and the lollies, you reckon? Anyway, ADF has taken it out for their woke bullshit this week. Very, very good to see. There was this other video I had here. I can't remember what it is, though. We'll just have to watch it. So watch this one while I correct the ball.
There is a big debate now about what goes on X and whether we should be doing more regulating of the internet. What's your view?
I don't agree with any kind of censorship in a general sense.
Fascinating.
I don't think Elon Musk is contributing to any social cohesion split inside this country.
This billionaire is prepared to go to court fighting for the right to sow division.
I think our media, our mainstream media, is doing enough of that.
It shows how arrogant this bloke is. That's what it shows.
I think our politicians do enough of that.
The question that Australians will be asked at this year's referendum is a very simple one.
When you talk about people being able to have different perspectives and different points of views, and it's okay to have that, and yet we don't see that in politics ever.
The Act, which came into effect in January 2022, gives eSafety the power to take down harmful content.
We don't see it in mainstream media. We see this absolute divide to the point where people are starting to think that when they read in the newspaper that it's unsafe for women to walk down the street in this country, people start believing it.
Yeah, I think you've had your say.
When we read reports that women are too afraid to walk down the street, I know lots of women that are not too afraid to walk down the street. I know there's a lot of men who have our backs. You know, that is the society we live in.
But there's more.
We look at the people that tried to rush forward at Bondi. You know, the guy that stood at the top of the escalator.
Bollard man.
Yeah, exactly.
As he's known.
You know, we don't live in a society where we all turn a blind eye. It does get me really angry when I see that our society is reported as having all of these major fault lines.
We need to acknowledge that we need to change behaviour, we need to change attitudes, we need to change culture. But there's still more.
Of course there are fault lines everywhere, but there's only one way that you can stop those fault lines from getting even bigger, and that is to have the ability to have the town square, to hear different points of view, and people will choose for themselves. The public is not stupid.
So if they fail to remove the content, then we can go to the search engines such as Google or Bing to really minimize the amount of content the Australians can see.
You stupid woman! But I know you want more.
And unfortunately, I think we've been fed, you know, this side or that side in the mainstream media for so long. People are giving up on mainstream media. That's why they're tuning out.
Welcome to Four Corners. Tonight, we begin our special three-part investigation into the story of the century.
Shut up, silly woman!
That's why they're going to YouTube. You ask many of the young people, they're getting their information from social media because of that, because we have let them down.
But wait, there's more.
Was it a reasonable efforts by X to block that particular video by geo-blocking it? That's the question.
Why would you block that?
It's geo-blocked.
But have you watched the 7 p.m. news every night? And we see what's happening in Israel and Gaza? Yeah. Seriously? We're not blocking that, are we? How horrendous is that?
Okay. All right. Let's just... Okay, so you think there's a double standard?
There's a double standard. You know, this is the stuff, and if we don't see it and we don't understand what's happening in our world, how do we ask the right questions in order to fix it?
Happy Safer Internet Day.
Shut up and sit down, you big bald fuck.
Remember, all I'm offering is the truth, nothing more.
there's a double standard.
Peter Jackson.
It's a fucking great video. I'm glad I shared that. I'd forgotten all about it till the start of it. Danger Dan does some great work. So thanks Danger Dan for producing that stuff. I think it's definitely worth sharing and jumping on his YouTube channel and watching some more of his stuff. I've seen a few of his videos. They're fucking great. But anyway, it's been fun. Look forward to seeing you guys next week. What have I got next week? Oh, that's right. Next week, I'm going to be away on Friday, but Tyler will be here with a pre-recorded interview that I did with, and it was a cherry-popping interview too. Like Rick from One Nation, who will be going up against for the seat of, oh my God, I'm going blank. Nick DeMeadows area up the road. If that helps. He's going up against Nick DeMeadow with One Nation. Had never done an interview before. So yeah, look, I'll admit I went a little bit soft on him because he's clearly new to the game and he's only just started. So I'm going to send him some information to catch him up to where everybody else in the network is sort of at. Particularly the stuff from Len Harris. I think he's going to love that interview. I was tempted to ask him about it, but I'm like, I don't think he knows. He hasn't got an idea yet. So we'll throw that at him and see what happens. But in the meantime, we did a pre-recorded one. He was a bit nervous about all you guys and whatnot. So you can throw all your comments over the top and see what he missed out on. He may answer you. And if you have questions, you can email him too, particularly if you're in that locale. Like obviously I'd encourage people who are from that area to really pose those questions. Excuse me. I can't think of the bloody area. I'm going to have to look it up. Hinchinbrook. There you go. I just had to concede defeat Hinchinbrook. So he's going for the seat of Hinchinbrook. So, that'll be streamed live next week. Tyler will give you a little bit of an interview. If you're nice to him, he might talk to you for a bit. Depends on how much he wants to watch his F1 racing or his video games or some shit. And as to whether he's going to do it or not, we'll see what happens. He might treat you, he may not. We'll find out what happens. So anyway, I hope you've enjoyed this. I've had a lot of fun. Congratulations, ADF, for going woke and making me really nervous about the position of war against anybody who, when you've got blokes running around in friggin' dresses, like go back and watch fucking MASH, for Christ's sake. Seriously, wake the fuck up, ADF. This is disgraceful, fucking disgraceful. Anyway, thank you all very much. See you guys next week. Well, I in some capacity, we'll probably be here to do one of these on a Sunday. We'll see how we roll. But until then, we definitely want to keep ourselves free, as Russell Brand would say. But I've decided to evolve this construct into being the best human you can be, because it's not just about one or two people stepping up and doing shit. We need all hands on deck, especially now that the digital ID nightmare is coming hard and fast at us. We've all got to start chipping in some way, shape, or form. Simple things like subscribe, share this shit. As an ex-soldier, it disgusts me. Wow, there you go. From Aussie Anzac. So yeah, mate, dude, I'd actually love to get you on to have a yarn about this. If you're an ex-soldier and and shit, I'd love to have you if you're keen to have a yarn. I'd like to pick your brain about a few different things, actually. I don't know if you're allowed to do that or whatnot. We can maybe disguise your identity if that's necessary, particularly if you're in the area here in Townsville and whatnot. And you can contact me, NQ Freedom Network, at protonmail.com. That I reckon it'd be very good to have a yarn with you. Thanks, was a great show. Awesome. Thank you, Fiona. Yeah, definitely, mate. Drop me a line if you can. That'd be great. I'd love to have a yarn with you, man. Love to have a yarn. So, yeah, shoot me an email and we'll go from there, buddy. Yeah, Hinchinbrook. Yep, that's it. Thanks. I got there in the end. All right, cool, man. All right, thank you all very much. Be the best human versions of yourself you can be. The war is on. We are at dire straits. We are on the precipice of the edge here, and it all depends on the people. It is, just as people are power, as made it nice and easy for you to see. People are the power. We are the power. The big question Like, and I spoke about it a little bit on Friday, but I'll have a quick address of it. A friend of mine said to me just last week, man, you've probably got a target on your head. They're watching you, and like at the end, like I said to him, yeah, no shit. What you think I didn't know that was going to happen? Like, I mean, at the end of the day, like, not to say I'm Jesus or anything, but to use Jesus as an example, he died on the cross, spent 3 agonizing days up there. I'd rather spend 3 agonizing days than an entire lifetime of agonizing pain under the slavery that they are going to try and push on us. So that's the question you got to ask yourself. Do you want to live in the society they're trying to create, or are you going to get up and do something about it? And like I said, now it's time to go and have a look in that mirror, chuck the Michael Jackson song on. You want to make a change. You got to start with yourself. So be the best version of yourself you can be. Till next time, take it easy, guys. I should have been more prepared to get this button going faster. Oh, yeah, this has been Fail of the Week. Hey.